Welcome back to the Fresh 7 at 7. I'm Russell, and today I'm chatting all the way in the USA, Chicago. Now, I remember the movie, but this is the DJ G-String. How are ya?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing? I'm good.
I'm very well. What's been happening in Chicago?
Obviously the lockdown, not much. Just doing a lot of virtual streaming. So trying to keep busy, keep positive.
Yep. Now, for people who don't know you, just in a few words, tell us about yourself.
So I've been a DJ for well over, 17 years, maybe going on 20. Who knows who's counting anymore? I don't know what day it is. But I started when I was in my teens, and I've spawned at a lot of places nationally and heavily in Chicago with some of the best DJs in class. So it's been a fun ride.
And you don't just mix DJ, like you don't just get songs and just go one track to the other track. You actually do mashups and actually create your own music as well.
Yeah, so I'm I don't know if I'm unique, but when I mix, I'm a big looper. So I love taking bits and pieces of other songs and sampling them and mixing them with my songs I'm mixing with. And then I definitely have a blending criteria. So I'm not your typical DJ I don't want to say wedding DJ, but they kind of slam songs together. So I really focus on the blending, and I don't use sync. A lot of DJs use sync, so I have to do everything manually. And then, I produce my own music. So I've been producing music also, in my teens. I released a song called Tolete. It's called Take It or Leave It. I've had over 30. Thank you very much. I had over 30,000 Spotify listens in 30 days of my release. So it's still growing, and I'm remixing it. Really proud of that because it's my latest release. And then the acoustic version's coming out in about 30 days.
So tell us that's an interesting mix. The acoustic mix, you're going to drop that in about 30 days, as you just said. What's that like? Because here I've heard the song, and it's quite clubby. You want to play it on Saturday night or a Friday night, or a Monday morning. But an acoustic mix, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of that happening.
Yeah. So I am instrumentally inclined. So I play bass, guitar, keys, violin. I do all the vocals and lyrics. So my other project's called Digging for Julia. It's a band. And I play guitar and bass. So I figured the next round it was either going to be, I did the thrash remix, which is kind of has a little vibe of the electric guitar in it. And then I figured, well, it was going to be either hard techno. And I was like, I'm just not feeling that song as a techno, really hard, heavy track, right? So I said, well, why don't I just do it acoustic? So I'm doing an acoustic. It's going to be a little mellow. I'm kind of working on it right now. I've gone through a lot of revisions because I'm really particular when it comes to releasing acoustic versions of any song I do.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because, like, to me, and now please correct me if I'm wrong, but acoustic to me I normally find that relaxing. So are we going to experience a relaxing version of this song, or are you going to be mashing up your acoustic version?
I don't think I'm going to do a mashup. It's probably going to be a little relaxing.
Okay,
I mean, it's going to be, because you're going to hear it like, it's hard hearing it as a dance version and hearing it as acoustic, which is why I'm having the trouble. Typically, I'm reversed. Like I will do my own remixes of my band stuff. So it's challenging, but yeah, it's going to be a little relaxing.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of the songs that I would ever think would be an easy song to turn into an acoustic song, just because of the way that the singer's singing. And if you strip back all the music and you go straight to guitar, it's just like, wow, just good luck.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You'll do it.
I did the vocals on that song, so that's me
really?
singing.
Oh well. Firstly, gotta say the vocals were a-okay. Like I could just listen. Can you just bring out an a cappella version? That would be awesome.
Yeah, I could.
Absolutely. I could. Just drop the a cappella version. It was awesome.
You're too funny. Yeah. So I did the singing and acoustic is actually challenging because it's a different style, right? So it's hard.
Just do it country and western.
Oh no, I don't. No country here. I mean, like country, can't play it, can't mix it. Right? Like that.
So tell us about your younger days when you're starting out DJing, because you said that you don't use sync and you don't use a few of the DJ easy methods, as I would say. What
Yeah.
was it like learning how to DJ? Because DJ equipment has changed over the period of well, let's be honest, it's now a computer.
Yeah, for sure. So what's funny is just I'll keep it short, but when I started, I had friends that were DJs that were using vinyl, and I was like, oh, that's complicated, right? When I got my first gig, I was 18. I actually used CDJs where the CDs were popular, and other vinyl DJs would give me, trash about you're not a real DJ, you're not using vinyl, you're using CDs. So that was an interesting time, and I decided to revert and learn vinyl because I felt like I needed to really know the craft. So I taught myself vinyl, and then I would spin 3 tables at a time. So I'd have my 2 CDJs, and then I had a Newmark TTX, which is a digital vinyl, so I could do all of it together. So I would spin vinyl and CDs. So it was very interesting. What's funny is I took a break from the scene because I started on my other project, Digging for Julie. I was in the band for a while. And when I came back, everybody was on laptops. So I was like, what is this laptop trash, right? So I jumped on the bandwagon because you really don't have a choice, right, with technology.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. Right. I still kind of don't like it. But there is some cool stuff that you can do with the new setups. And then obviously now laptops are going away, really, right? Everybody has standalone equipment that's basically its own computer. But I think as far as like stability, hands down, vinyl 100% would be stable all night long compared to the new equipment that they have. So it was definitely a technology curve for me. But to be very honest, there's some cool stuff that you can do with the new equipment. And I think that's why, DJs have become so popular now compared to, a decade ago.
I think the interesting thing is like look, we've all played around with DJ software and the Mac has a bunch of them. But the thing I find the most interesting is that you're having 6-year-olds, 4-year-olds even, playing on mum and dad's laptop, iPad, and basically downloading a software and DJing their iTunes library. It's really interesting from the point of view as that's how far technology has gone. But you kind of do miss like, for example, let's take vinyl. It's got a sound to it. It's got every vinyl disc has its own story to tell because some DJs take care of their music. Some DJs don't take care of the music. Some DJs have some skipping. Other DJs don't have some skipping. That's what I'm trying to say. So, look, if you could have any equipment out there as a DJ, what would your perfect lineup of equipment be?
Oh boy. What's hilarious is I am not a Pioneer girl, and every DJ I know, and it's always been this way. Even when I was a DJ back, in the clubs back when I first started, I was a Newmark girl, and I still am. Like I still have Newmarks, and my turntable's Newmark. So I mean, honestly, I feel like the new Pioneers that are out there, those look pretty cool. But like I can live with some basic equipment, little bit of some features, because at the end of the day, it's not the equipment that makes you talented. It's just your craft. It's your vision of what you want to spin. So I'm comfortable with what I have right now, to be honest. So,
well, Pioneer, she doesn't want you. You won't get any sponsorship from them.
I know, right? It's
So, what, as a DJ, you get requests quite a lot at nightclubs when we're at nightclubs. But how do you find it with new music? Because you get a new song. Let's say I know Lady Gaga's just dropped a new album, and her fans are going to be like all over that. Are you pressured by what's popular, like the top 40s, or do you find that your music choice is actually what you want to play and not what the crowd might want you to play?
Yeah, I think when you're starting out as a DJ, that's the pressure, right? You want to be a crowd pleaser. As you like mature into this type of craft and this career, you decide that your audience gets to know who you are and will enjoy what you're playing because they know, like, I'm a house old school DJ. Like that's my thing. Like that's what I do. My dance songs kind of house housey, Euro style. That's my thing. So I typically only grab stuff that I actually like, because if I play something I don't like, you can tell. Like, you can hands down tell. Like, I'm not going to please you on it. If I have to play some track that I'm not loving, you see it in the energy. Sometimes I do like my virtual sessions on Instagram live of practicing songs I've never played before. I do it live so people can see my mistakes. I don't care. I'm all about being authentic, and you can tell the energy if I like it or not. So if it's a remix of a pop song, hands down, I'll probably like it, depending on like if it's housey or if the BPM's fast enough. Like, I think that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not going to play stuff that I don't really want to play.
So we a lot of people who are starting out DJing, they hear this thing called BPM. Do you want to quickly explain what BPM actually is, and how it makes DJing a little bit more interesting?
What, the beats per minute? Are you serious?
Absolutely. Come on, let's talk about these beats per minute, girl.
Yeah, so BPM is a beats per minute per song, and it's super important to know the BPM rate's not heavily important. So I'm kind of like a cutting edge. I don't really try to find songs that have the same BPM. Like, I like mixing. Sometimes tracks are in the 100 BPM, sometimes tracks in 140 together, because I have a way and I can mix them. Like, that's just experience. Whereas a lot of DJs you may see, even famous ones, they will try to find songs that have the same keynote and the same BPM, because they literally, if you watch them, they're really not doing much, except you see like the Instagram or like Facebook memes of like DJs just spinning knobs, right? Because there's really not what you need to do anymore. So the importance of having the BPM is that you have to be able to mix a song with that. That's all about the tempo, moving the slider, or if you're using sync, matching the beats per minute to the next song beats per minute to be able to mash them together. Otherwise, it'll sound like a train wreck, right? So when you blend them, it sounds offbeat. It doesn't synchronize. The key with mixing is that you want to be able to get it either in a low point to blend in your song. I typically like to slam beats in when it's mixing and the beat's going to be really poppy in the next round of the song, and I like pop in the next one, and then I have a loop going on. But yeah, the BPM is super important. I mean, for everything that you do, that's what you live by.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, if we work in radio and our broadcast software, it goes beats per minute. Click this button to automatically get the correct beats for that song. And like, most probably like 40% of the songs don't register a beat per minute. Right. I'm like going, hang on. So I have to now tap this out. Like, I literally have to listen and tap it out. And there's something about tapping out a beat, and definitely if you're not musically trained, like, it is a little bit difficult, because you're like going, okay, is that a beat? Oh, I hear another beat. And it can be a little bit of a learning curve. So do you recommend that people who are starting out DJ actually listen to their favorite songs and just try to tap along?
Yes. Well, how do I say this? I don't know. When I started, I literally just like made mistakes all over the place and just tried my hardest to do small segments of matching. The tapping out's interesting now only because software allows you to tap out in the program to then use sync, so that each song on left, right, when you sync them, they're already blended together perfectly, because you already pre-tapped out where the lows and the highs are, right? But I think as a DJ starting out, super critical. Like, I know everybody gives not the biggest props for bedroom room DJs. That's your practice, right? That's where you live. That's where you practice. And like, you should literally treat it like a second job, in my opinion. That's what I did. I didn't go out to anywhere when I first got my set of turntables. I literally stayed at the house for like 3 months. I was working, going to school at the time. But yeah, I just wanted to learn everything, because I just didn't want to go to public and not do well. And I landed my first gig when I was 18. And then I was a very limited female DJ in Chicago at the time. There wasn't that many back then. So I was able to spin at some popular clubs, Sound Bar, Zentra, Circuit. So I was pretty much around in Chicago back in the day when all those scenes were really hitting it hard with the female DJs coming out.
So now that you've been around for a little while, tell us, what's the scene like now? Like, you've got more competition, you've got more younger DJs coming up trying to chase your. Excuse my phone. I should have turned that off. You've got younger DJs. You got younger DJs coming up trying to chase your heels. what is it like now as a more mature DJ and someone who's been around the scene, who knows the clubs, who knows the owners? Do you find that everyone's getting along, or do you find that the younger DJs are trying to push you out so they can get in?
You know what's funny is I feel like decades ago that was the scene, right? Female DJs were kind of seen as like, oh, you're really not a DJ because you're a female, right? Unfortunately, because there wasn't many of us, and now I feel like a lot of DJs are helping each other more than they probably ever have. Even like the new ones, I don't think there's any type of clashing going on. I think everybody's really more open to it. I do feel that some of the guys I've spun with in the day, you know, they're very still, you know, on the horse of I'm archaic and phenomenal, which is totally great. Like we have a different skill than some of the younger ones, you know, that are coming out because we learned on, you know, basically the old school stuff. But yeah, I don't sense that at all. I think the biggest thing that I get is, you know, people ask me a lot, like, why don't you use sync? Why don't you like pioneers? Why do you take the time to, why do you take the time to blend everything manually? Like why, you know, and to me, it's like, I don't know.
I think it's more like I actually think that every DJ has their own unique style, and like I get it. Like some people, like I know DJs here in Perth, and they will. I've got some DJs who are the manual syncers. I've got some DJs that are auto syncers. I've got some DJs that just literally just let the computer software do it.
Yeah.
It's like what, you're not even a DJ, like, and that's the thing. Like I find it really interesting how these equipments have got so shockingly easy to use, where I could use it and just go, yeah, I want that song and that song, and I want it mashed up, and I want it beats this, and it just does it. Where I guess like for the more, I wouldn't say authentic DJs, but the more old school DJs
Yeah.
have the skill set. They've learnt a lot. They have life skill. They've made mistakes. They've literally taken it back to the roots. Now, do you think that there is a place for the new style, like computer programs, or would you like to see the CDs and vinyl stuff come back?
I don't know. I mean, vinyl I'll always have. Like I kept my vinyl, right? CDs, those are way gone. It's way too much to lug around. I mean, vinyl was a lot to lug around. Like, let's be real. Like, you had to plan like your set if you were going to spin, because you had to bring all that stuff with you. But I like the new technology. I guess for me, like I've always had this battle, and I try not to be so vocal about it, but like my thing is I just want people to have a craft that isn't automatic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is authentic. I mean, I'm sorry, it's authentic. Like for me, I want to know, like, if I battle this DJ, are they going to be able to battle me the same way I mix, or are you going to have to use sync, or you're going to make a train wreck? Like, can you actually DJ? I think that's where I'm at, right? If you're a DJ, can you really DJ, or you know how to use the tools? And that's cool. Like no bashing, right, at this point, but like that's where it comes down to being authentic and versus being someone that can learn software. Like there's it's two different worlds, right?
So let me ask you this. If you could have a DJ battle with someone, who would it be with?
Oh man. Oh, I mean, I would win, right? It has to be someone I'd win.
No. I would say I was thinking about putting you up against Marshmello.
Oh, Marshmello, huh? You know, I like Marshmello. God, I don't know. So my favorite ultimate DJ is Cascade. Like I love Cascade. So I don't know if I would battle him though. In a DJ battle for authenticity would be probably Bad Boy Bill. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a Chicago DJ.
I haven't, and I'll have to look him up.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like this guy, like I looked up to him when I first started out. He would spin like 6 turntables vinyl at once. Like he was incredible. And he's still doing that in the clubs. Like he is not on the digital stuff. Like he's still old school, which is, I still look up to him. I saw a live stream of him recently, and I was like, that's awesome. Like he kept it the way he's always done it. I look up to that.
Yeah, I think that's actually really, really cool. So how many decks have you spun at once?
With this set here, 4. With my old set, probably, well, 3.
Yep.
Um, it's harder with, so what's funny is, as I, bash the whole sync thing, when I do 4, I do use sync on 2.
Yep.
And 9 out of 10, it's those other 2 are being looped. Like there's loops going on those other 2 from other songs, and I could start and stop and mesh them together. And that's typically some of the mashups that I do. But yeah, 4 on this deck pretty easily. 3 on the old deck because it was external vinyl, and then 2 digitals.
So would you ever go to 6?
If I could master that, that would be awesome. Yeah. I mean, that would be amazing, right? I mean, 4 is hard. I mean, getting used to that, like, it's hard. It really
Yeah,
is.
it absolutely is. I don't pity the fool who does it.
Yeah.
But so of course, clubs are shut at the moment over in Chicago, just like they are here in Australia. What are you doing? You said quickly. You said Instagram virtual lives.
Yeah.
How's that going for you? And what's you doing on virtual world?
So what's funny is, like, DJing is not my only, source of income. So I actually work during the day, but my side stuff, if I'm doing virtual, I try to do every Sundays, in the afternoon. I've been doing randoms lately because my time's been crazy. Cause obviously it's getting nicer outside and playing outside in the yard. But, if I'm doing randoms, it's pretty much my practice sets where people can see me play stuff I've never even heard before that I just got that day. But they've been going pretty good. I think what's funny is when I first did it, I was hesitant because it seemed to be so popular, right? Since everybody went in quarantine, everybody's doing live streams. So
Yeah.
I was live streaming on my YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram at the time, and it was okay. I was a little nervous because it's weird, right? It's a weird, you don't have the energy of the people, it's just you, and it feels like a practice, right? So when you see other DJs, I've seen a lot of them do virtual streams. They're dancing, they're having a good time, they got lights going on. And I'm like, I don't have all of that. Like I do, but I'm not going to set that up. Like,
Well, maybe you should. No, but it's really interesting because like we are seeing a lot more virtual DJs, and I think like I'm surprised Second Life hasn't taken back off and gone.
Right.
Like I remember playing that game and going into nightclubs there when I was like I was 14.
Right.
I was old. But okay, so do we know how Chicago's going? I know Donald Trump would like to lift restrictions ASAP, but what are you feeling locally in Chicago at the moment?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, deaths are still growing, infection rates are still high. We're doing more testing. I think the reality of lifting it would be great. Everybody would love that, but the problem is that my concern is, are we going to get back to this point? Are we all going to get locked down over again? And I'm just worried that, like, festivals and stuff this year, I know 100% I'm out of those, right? None of those are happening. Because the whole social distancing thing and the club thing, I mean, I guess who's going to go to a nightclub that's going to do social distancing? like let's be honest.
Well, that's what they're going to attempt over here. Apparently, you're going to be able to go to pubs and clubs with up to a maximum of 100 people, and you're going to have to stay 1.5 meters apart. I tell you now, that ain't going to happen. Like, I reckon that the venues are going to maybe, well, actually, if the venues don't adhere to it, they will get shut down. Simple as that. That's why all the clubs got shut down in the first place, was due to the simple fact that they didn't follow the rules. Yeah. So I think that this is the thing, like, either if they want to reopen and they want to, look, they've been shut now for 2 months. So if they want to reopen and have people in there, they've got to follow the rules. Simple as that. I spoke to one venue. They said, well, we can have up to 100 people maybe by July, but they're going to have to sit on chairs and not move.
Yeah, I don't know what DJ want to do that.
No, I don't know anyone who wants to pay a ticket to go and see it. Like, but anyway, it's going to be an interesting time, and it's going to be an interesting journey. What's planned for you let's forget this year. Let's just go to next year. What's planned for 2021?
Yeah, so for me next year, it's really focusing on a lot of new tracks coming out. Like I've been working on a couple different projects this year alone. Next year, hoping that I'll get booked up for festivals. Everything's in the air right now. Like I don't think anybody's solidified the lineup, and any lineups that were already selected this year are moved to next year. So a couple festivals in Chicago, typically 2 or 3. I'll probably be picked for and DJ at on the north side and also downtown. But other than that, everything as far as like the DJ side of the biz is really on hold until everybody figures out what we're doing. So really, I'm just kind of gonna keep doing my virtual sessions and then hopefully releasing a couple more songs this year and next year.
Okay, I've got 3 more questions for you.
Okay.
Question number 1: what is your favorite festival to DJ at?
Oh boy. So for me, well, so the one I love DJing at was it was a Chicago Pride event. It was the I think it was called Backlash Bash. I DJ'd there, and it was really fun. I had a really good time, and then I went to Soundbar when they first opened, and I DJ'd there on their Sunday night. So it was a good time.
Okay. Question number 2: what is the best and worst venue to DJ at?
Oh boy.
And the worst one doesn't have to be an open one. It can be one that's collapsed just to save your job.
It's funny. I really loved DJing at Zentra when it was open because it was just so like the energy was just off the charts. Like I love that place. The worst place, oh man. I remember I DJ'd at a hole in the wall bar. Like I was like, it was actually good money too. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll spend there. I didn't like get it all. Like it was just really bad. And hole in the wall places aren't terrible, but like it's way closed. It was not even in a good area. I was super young. I had to lug all my stuff, like even bring like monitor speakers, like legit. And
really?
so,
Wow.
yeah, it was bad. And I didn't ask questions back then. So yeah, it's probably the worst place I've ever DJ'd at.
Have you ever forgotten your equipment though? Like, as in, like a cable or something that's really important to you?
Okay, as a DJ, no. In the band, yes. I actually, in my band, Digging for Julie, I left my entire pedal board, like thousands of dollars of pedals. In the venue, it was like a big rock stage. And the venue was closed for the weekend, right? So Sunday, Monday, they didn't open until Wednesday. I like was having a heart attack because I was like, all my pedals are there. Can't get them, right? So I called and I got them. But yeah, I've left that, and it's a terrible feeling. I've never left any DJ stuff though. I'm very particular about that.
Okay, and question number 3: where can people find you, and how can they connect to you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at DJ_G_string, or just my website, djgstring.com.
Well, thank you very much for joining me on this Fresh 7 at 7. And I really wish you all the very best for, well, the rest of this year and 2021. Because I think we all just want next year to come on. Let's be real. If we could skip this year, we would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
All right. Thanks, Russell. You have a good one.